So here I want to show you the mechanics of how you make a branch. In the philosophy video, I talked a little bit more about why you'd want a branch. So we'll just work on the mechanics of it here. If I want to branch here, I'm going to just type in get branch and then give it a name. So I'm going to create a branch where I'm going to add nodes and edges to my map, and then a separate branch where I work on the mechanics of the actual algorithm. And so now I've added a branch by typing get branch and the name of the branch. So if I look at the log, now I have two things. And so you can see the top, I've got two branches, master and add to map. Now head here is attached to master. So if I add a commit right now, it's going to still be on the master branch. If I want to switch to the add to map branch, then I have to do get checkout add to map. And now I've switched to add to map. And then if I do get log, then you can see head is now pointing to add to map instead of master. And so if I make a commit now, I'm going to commit it to the branch add to map instead. Now checkout is a powerful command. I can check out other locations as well. So let's say I wanted to see where I was way back in the second commit here, add 20 nodes and their associated edges. So I could check out that location. And now, voila, here I am. I'm back all the way in that part of my history. Now you'll notice it gave me this error message, a warning message. So if I type get log, you can see there's this head and it doesn't point to a branch. And this error message or this note here is warning me about that. You have a detached head state. And what that means is if you're really not in a position to commit, you want to commit here, you can use the get switch command and it tells you how to do it right here. And then you can create a branch at this location. But I don't necessarily need to do that. I just wanted to show you how to check something out. And you can see where you were. If you wanted to branch from here, like if you decided that the last 3 commits you made were a catastrophe, you can just go ahead and check out a spot three commits back and add a branch here, and we can ditch all the rest of that work that wasn't so good. That happens all the time. If I want to go back to where I was, I'm going to go to get checkout add to map, and voila, you'll notice Atom updates automatically. And here I am back at where I was. And if I look at get log, head is pointing to add to map and not to master. So I'm ready to commit to add to map. So let's say I did some work on my add to map branch. I added some nodes and I added some edges for those nodes, and I've done that work. I'm going to go ahead and commit that. So it's committed. So now if I look at my log, you can see it's left behind a marker to let me know where master branched off. My head is still at add to map, and I've added this commit. If I want, I can go back and check out master, and now I'm back here where I didn't have all those edges and nodes yet, and then I can go ahead and work on my algorithm here instead. So let's say I worked on the master branch. I created this algorithm and I've committed it, so you can see that in the log. Now one of the interesting things here is because I'm on the master branch right now, it doesn't even show that the add to map branched off here. I can show that if I want. I can do -- all, and then that flag will show this is part of the add to map branch, and this is part of the master branch, and this is where my head is. You'll notice that I start to go onto a second page. It starts to get a little cluttered. So if you want, you can do one line, and then that view is a little nicer. To add the graph tag, you can see the branching here, see which branch each commit is part of, and get a better sense of how it looks. So the one line and the graph really help you visualize your network of commits better. There are other visualization tools that are cooler and nicer than this, but this is a nice basic one for relatively simple Git setups. So another useful tool you might want to make use of is a tag. So I have my log here. Let's say back here at this commit, I decide I want to tag this location as someplace important. I'm going to do get tag. I like to use the annotation to give myself a little information about why I'm tagging this. So I did start map as this was the point where I started the map. So you do an annotated tag, the name, and then the location you want to tag. And if you don't give it a location, it will assume that you're tagging your current location, which here would be the one where the head is at the top, 5086798. But I want to tag this 5EEAC71, and then I can put a message just like a command. It's a -M, and then voila. Now when I do git log, it shows me this tag, and I can check out that tag if I want. And again, I get the same detached head message that I got before, but it puts me back to where I was when I started the map. You can see that in the text editor in Atom, back at master. And so it's kind of almost like magic that you can sort of swap around and see the whole history of what you're doing. And that's really the power of Git, is to be able to, work on simultaneous streams with the branching and not have them interfere with each other. You can retrace your history. So if you have a disastrous idea, you can backtrack it and fix those problems without having to manually undo them. You can just undo them en masse. So one last tool I want to show you is how to merge branches. So if you look here, I was going to do my one line all graph so you can show all my branches. So I can see that I've got master checked out. I've got add to map as a separate branch. And then I go ahead and try to merge in add to map. So I type git merge, add to map, and it auto merges, and it says, uh-oh, there's a conflict. So sometimes you get a conflict, sometimes you won't. If you don't, bonus, it's great. Now you'll notice when I come back over to roots.py in Atom, you can see that it merged in all my added stuff on the map, but it shows that the head has this and add to map has this, and that those conflict. And it doesn't know what to do because this was deleted in the master branch. This was left behind in add to map. And so it wasn't sure if I wanted to keep this or not, or keep a different version of it or what. It put these markers in to let itself know what's where. So if I want to resolve the conflict, I can just delete all these markers and set up the code the way I want. So once I've saved with the markers removed, I can just go ahead and add and then commit. You can see my add to map branch getting merged back in, and you can see the head of the master. So it comes out here. This commit is part of master because it stays on the left edge. This branch is add to map, and then they get merged back in. And my head is here with add to map merged in. It gives you just a basic idea of how to deal with a branch, and hopefully you'll find that helpful.